payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear, that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming.
Today, I have felt prompted to speak of the importance of preparation for a future event of supreme importance to each of us, the second coming of the Lord. The scriptures are rich in references to the second coming, an event eagerly awaited by the righteous and dreaded or denied by the wicked. The faithful of all ages have pondered the sequence and meaning of the many events prophesied to precede and follow this hinge point of history. Four matters are indisputable to Latter-day Saints. One, the Savior will return to the earth in power and great glory to reign personally during a millennium of righteousness and peace. Two, at the time of his coming, there will be a destruction of the wicked and a resurrection of the righteous.
Travis Wayne Goodzone. So, October 2023 General Conference, which is September-October. This is the time where the majority of Mormons are looking for church stuff, because this is when I get the most views of the year. It's during conference times. Unless there's church news that hits the national news. That's an exception to conference. Because rarely do I have a breakout video during non-conference time. And so, knowing this, knowing the way the algorithms work, even though they still try to manipulate the algorithms to fight me, I purposely build suspense before conference. And then, of course, Mormons don't understand sarcasm, don't understand criticism. They take me literally, and then can't see how it happened, and every single time it does. For April conference this year, it was name, resurrecting Nelson's previous comments that Jesus demands saying the name. After all these generations, Jesus is finally pissed. Easy to mock. Because obviously Nelson's lying through his teeth. He's deceiving you. And that only comes from studying your scriptures. That's how you can identify false prophets, Mormons. But Nelson, for example, in the beginning, was telling Mormons to stay off their cell phones, stay off social media, don't watch the news, can't trust them, go out and do missionary work, don't worry about what's going on in the world, convert more people, have them pay tithing. Mormons don't say it. And so ignorance breeds hate, and hate breeds violence. And so as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints suppresses knowledge and information from Mormons, providing misinformation, Mormons are ignorant. They don't have a clue we're supposed to be the learning of the Jews. But the Church of Jesus Christ, emphasis specifically added, replaced Joseph Smith's Jewish religion and Jewish Book of Mormon. This is how effective the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been at indoctrinating members who are still left. And yeah, they threaten all of us to pay tithing or we will be burned in Armageddon. And so ignorant Mormons, they're clueless that we're in the latter days, in the final year. And on the 16th of September, the final Jewish year, because it's the learning of the Jews for the Jewish prophecies in the New Testament and the Old, and what was rejected by the Trinitarian Christian Church. And therefore, Mormons are very ignorant. Not only do they not understand that you cannot threaten to murder people, that is a crime. And so when the prophets get up and say, pay your tithing or you're going to burn to death, that's the crime. Federal law prohibits transmitting any threat to injure the person of another and penalizes such threats with 5 years in prison. How many members of the church do the church claim? Over 16 million. So it doesn't matter if there's only 3 million Mormons who are active. It means that the rest of the 13 million are wicked. They're not obeying. They're not paying tithing. And therefore the church is going to keep their threat and murder us. This is a crime. 5 years in prison for each count. How many members again? Over 16 million. And so times 5, 80 million years in prison for each of the 15 prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 80 million years. See, the scriptures only say that they're going to lock up the great and abominable church prophets for 1,000 years. guess Nelson wants to prove the Bible wrong. I mean, this is awful. That Mormons can't see this. That they are that blind in ignorance. That the church has created such a tremendous wall for Mormons to stumble on. Because Mormons emulate the prophets. This is why there's so much sexual deviance in Utah. Where is that? Yeah. But the pyramid scheme. The church runs and operates a pyramid scheme. It's illegal. You can't recruit who pay. But missionaries recruit, paying, and those they can recruit have to pay. It's not a donation, it's a requirement. Section 119. Mormons must pay. And it's for priestcraft. Which means it's not Joseph Smith, it's a forged document. And then you find out through study that it was put in Brigham Young's church in 1844 after he murdered Joseph Smith. Section 119 is a forged document. That's why the church doesn't refer to Section 64, which ties it to Malachi. Will a man rob God? We're obviously not giving to God. He says, put the tithing in a storehouse. That's for the poor. Yeah, tithing is not used for the poor. It's used in accordance with 119. Right, Irene? His leaked receipts, check stubs. And I know it's a legitimate one. I used to work for the church. I got those same check stubs. $80 million years. There won't be anybody on the face of the earth guilty of that severe of a crime. And yet that's not the most severe crime of the prophets. Seditious conspiracy, treason, attempted murder, and other such crimes. Threatening to murder is kind of low on their list of crimes committed. But still, 80 million years in prison. Can we punish their children and children's children too, so that they then can help serve that time? I know the daughter, Nelson's daughter, needs to, with her husband, for what they got away with in Bountiful in the 80s. But yeah, Mormons take that example of the church with the pyramid scheme. And you got USANA and doTERRA. Those are pyramid schemes. They're not legitimate businesses. They recruit. They got that idea from the church, being Mormon. They need to be shut down as a criminal organization. The CEOs at the top of the pyramid locked up in prison. Not for 80 million years. That's not as severe as the church's crime. But yeah, it saddens me. I went on a mission. My parents paid for it. And we go out there and we lie. And yet I read the Joseph Smith history and I'm going, creed? What's a creed? It's talking about Christianity as abominable. What's that creed? Church won't tell me. We didn't have Google search back then. It wouldn't have mattered. I didn't know Greek back then either. Wouldn't have been able to catch on to the word homuzion. But it was very clear to me anyway that Christianity was abominable. Didn't know how. Didn't know the history. I just knew that Joseph Smith said Christianity is abominable. Little did I know, and it's because it turned the Jewish Christ into literal history during the Roman period time as the bastard son of a mother who was raped as a 14-year-old girl. And as Mormons, it's made worse with incest. Because Heavenly Father is Mary's father. She's the daughter. And thus abominable. But you can see how Christianity is emulating that version of the Jewish scriptures. With abortion. Denouncing abortion. Women have to have that rape baby. No matter how young they are. Because Jesus is the product of rape. And so screw the 14th Amendment that says women have precedence over the fetus. Because women are citizens. Equal as citizens. But to overthrow Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court committed an act of treason. Seditious conspiracy. And lo and behold, Leonard Leo set up the billionaires to compromise the Supreme Court justices, as well as work for the secret combination, the Council for National Policy, where the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is, with Mark Skousen, the church's representative. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints compromised the Supreme Court justices who violated the Constitution of the United States of America to overthrow Roe v. Wade. Told you, there's a lot more serious crimes. And so the death threats. As the church threatens Mormons, penalty of death, sacreds. And the church just claims, well, that Helaman chapter 6. But yeah, what do Mormons do? Yeah, it's conference time. I not only get a lot more views, I also get a lot more comments from people who don't even think to check how long have I been doing videos? How many videos do I have? Let alone what I've been talking about in my 3.1K videos on just this channel. And they make an ignorant comment, and if they've been triggered sufficiently in their ignorance, they'll make a hate comment, And if they've been triggered in their hate sufficiently, they will make a death threat. Sometimes they use Jesus to make the death threat, like the church does. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. So, yeah, this is why the church is anti-Semitic, anti-LGBTQ, and those bigots, sexist, racist, neglecting the poor. So yeah, I brought out in my endowment house video some bombshell stuff in there that even ex-Mormons should be paying attention to. Unfortunately, very few of you are listening this far. That's another one of the problems, is that Mormons choose to remain in ignorance because of the church. Threats to Mormons. Stay off social media. Don't listen to Antichrist whores. They're going to deceive you, take you away from the faith. You'll go apostate like them. Don't listen to them. And so, yeah, I see it. The little 18-year-olds throughout the year, nope, they don't come to my channel. And even the 25 to 34-year-olds, for the most part, they don't come. And if they do come, it's for a TikTok, couple of seconds. They have clearly been brainwashed. They have been weaponized. They are Manchurian candidates. And so, yeah, I saw that episode yesterday. The Manchurian Candidate episode. But yeah, it's weird. They know that psychology is evil, but yet they still try to bring in the good of psychology. There's no such thing. It's all based on the core falsehood. And the main thing that they do is a bullying tactic. But it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they create, but then bully you to self-fulfill their self-fulfilling prophecy of you. And those who they get, they gotcha. They take your money and they insult you, and you're stuck with them for the rest of your lives. And lots of people get drugged by them. Their lives are utterly ruined. They never heal anybody. You don't need a psychologist because you're having your menstrual cycle. It's not bipolar disorder. But if you get suckered in, caught in their snare, they give you the drugs that makes you addicted to them. So that when you go off of them and you need to take more, you go through withdrawal symptoms. And then they say, it's a chemical imbalance, you're bipolar. The chemical is the drugs they gave you. And the longer you're on it, the more they say, hey, it's confirmed, see, proof, you're bipolar. It's just getting worse as you get older. You have to keep taking the drugs. Psychologists are evil, and they're being used by the church as the Nazis did. That's why they excommunicated Natasha Helfer, because she, as a psychologist, used real, actual scientific, medical science to say that porn does not kill you, Holland. What are you talking about? Masturbation doesn't cause blindness. It's part of the human body's natural processes for a guy. which is strange. Psychologists aren't supposed to do that. They're supposed to lie to you like the church wants them to, and tell you that porn is evil and that it makes you addicted. It'll turn you gay. And your eyes will dilate. And your frontal cortex will be hyperactive. Oh my God. How does anybody have sex? Oh my God. Just the fallacy arguments that they expand upon from the core fallacy of psychology. This is why the church has family services full of psychologists, and they're all connected. Valley Behavioral Health, University of Utah, they're all in on it together. It's not 3 separate groups. Oh, dear God. But yeah, this is what the Nazis did to the Jews. And then in the 60s, Russia said, hey, that was a great idea. Let's use it on our political opponents. Yep. Oh, my political opponent has sluggish schizophrenia. We need to lock him up for his safety. So he's not going to be running this term. Oh, I'm the only one running? Oh, thank you for voting for me in our democratic election in Russia. The vote of the people has... God. And so, yeah, the psychologists with the drugging and all of the bullying tactics and tortures, it was abominable. And yet the United States took them in, gave them asylum to work with our CIA. And so, yeah, the drugging portion with LSD, that was just one of the ways they were trying to figure out how to brainwash the Americans. We, the people. The CIA is our enemy. They were trying to figure out how to brainwash the masses. They knew that religion had something to do with it, because religion had been successful for 1,700 years, fooling everybody into thinking Trinitarian Jesus is real, when it says right there in the creed it's not. No. I guess I should throw in a scripture. But yeah, the day that shall burn as an oven is coming up. This is the bicentennial year. And they didn't do it on 9/11. And so we really don't know the date. Which should be scary, but going over the news last night, America is literally under attack on all different fronts. Dozens of different ways that the church is under attack right now. And they got people who are under attack in one area that affects their lives, and so they're only concerned about that one attack. This is how you divide people to conquer them. You just throw out a whole bunch of stuff, see what sticks, and it becomes overwhelming to control all the fires that need to be put out. And so a lot of the stuff gets through, and eventually you overthrow Roe v. Wade, take away the rights of women. Oh, it's in 2. So talking about King Noah, Mosiah is condemning a monarchy because it can turn corrupt. And he's given up the throne because of it, because the sons don't want the throne. And so to avoid controversy, he's just doing away with and creating the United States Constitution in its place, for which Captain Moroni will go to defend against the kingmen who seek to overthrow the United States Constitution and restore the monarchy of King George that we fought the Revolutionary War for. And so he says, King Noah did cause his people to commit sin and do that which was abominable in the sight of the Lord. Yea, they did commit whoredoms and all manner of wickedness. They emulated his leadership. And so if King Noah is doing it, it must be okay for us to do it. And so they'll start a Usana and a doTERRA, kill their neighbor for not paying their tithing, not going to church or the temple, or not believing that Jesus is coming, and therefore they have to be zombies in order to chop up their body and bury them in the backyard of the Rexburg home. Or you're a mother of 8 kids who thinks it's funny to do YouTube videos about how evil her children are and how she needs to torture them and abuse them. Or the psychologist working with a Mormon who's involved in murder. Or the bishop who rapes little girls going in for their worthiness interview. And Mormons just complain, oh man, they're giving the church a bad name. I don't have a theme song yet. You give love a bad name. There it is. It also sounds like a band name, because the N kind of gets silenced in our phonetics. Lots of songs that sound like they're saying something else. Like Dua Lipa's Barbie song. It sounds like she's telling little girls to have sex. It's steps, not sex. But with backmasking technology, she could be saying sex in the background. Oh my God. So, we're at 30 minutes. Just understand, this is why Mormons are the way they are. Because of the examples of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That was going to be the thumbnail picture, huh? Okay. Makes it easy for me. I don't have to figure out something and create it and